Good morning, everyone. Marilyn here. I thought I'd take a little time here on the video to share a technique that I use for my art journals and portraits. I do sketch occasionally, but it's so time-consuming, and I, of course, obsess over it. So I decided a more casual way for me is to use portrait stamps. And in this case, this is a very used Dina Wakley portrait stamp. And I have some others of hers, and I just love her expressions and so on. So I just want to share a technique of how I do this. First, this is in my art journal, and the background is strictly just with distress stamps, distress pads and some calligraphy stamping. So now I'm just going to go over this a little bit with a light coat of gesso. Not too much. I want some of the background to show through. So I'm just going to quickly go over this. And if I miss some spots, that's okay. Just want to hide the background a little bit. I will take the heat tool and go over the gesso. And gesso dries very quickly. That should do it. Enough to show you the technique. So again, this is a Dina Wakley portrait stamp, and I don't use the backings anymore. I used to, but I've kind of learned to adjust to not using them. So what I'm going to do is take this stamp. Here I'm using the Ranger Archival ink, jet black. And I'm going to go right ahead and stamp turn this around, and voila. I might take the casing of the ink pad and just press down a little more on it. And now you can see it's kind of a worn portrait. I can still see Dina Wakley's expression in there, but I want to build it up a little more. So what I do is I take my trusted Magical Stabilo pencil, and I'm sure you're all familiar with this. I love it. It's water soluble, and this helps too in this process. So I'm just going to go over some of the shadows here. With the Stabilo where I see. Now here, you can't tell too much. And this, she's going to come out looking kind of like this. Although I'm going to make her eyes turn this way. Just to give it a little difference. Looks to be more shadows here on this side. I'll give her a neck and some shoulders. Some more shadows here, up here. I won't touch the lips with the Stabilo. There's always a little something under the lips here. A few more shadows. Okay, so now what I'm going to do is take a brush, get some water here, and go over the Stabilo area. Even her hair here, because I want her hair black. I like dark eyes in my portraits for the most part. I'll go under her neck a little bit for some shadowing. I'm not going to do this whole thing. I just mainly want to share the technique I use. Eventually I'll go in more with her hair. So now I'm going to go in with some more gesso. I'll just put a little bit on a palette here. Pick up a little bit on my brush and go right over the face. And the neat thing about the gesso is it still shows some of the color, which I like. There's usually a lot of white on the nose. I always try to figure where the light is coming from. Again, my videos are very casual. I don't, not all the bells and whistles. I try to keep them as short as I can, just to share some of the things that I do. And I'll even go over some of the Stabilo here that I want for the shadow, and maybe a little more white here. I will completely go over this whole body with the gesso because I want to add maybe some fabric to her body or whatever I want to do. And even though this is a stamp, I still get obsessive, my personality. And I'm going to add a little white around here. I probably need a smaller brush, but you can see it's taking shape in a very different way. But it really helps me to use a guideline with the stamp. Now here inside, we have some whites to our eyes. So I'm just going to give her, whoops, here we go. This is the beauty of, by the way, this is the beauty of the Stabilo. I just dip it in water and I can erase whatever I did. So now I'll go back in. Same here. And I might touch her. This eye looks much bigger, but that's okay. I'll just, I'll keep playing with it till I, really feel comfortable with it. As you can see, it just keeps going on. But it will happen. You'll find yourself enjoying the kind of uniqueness about it. I hope Dina appreciates me using her stamp like this, but why not? She's a sharing artist, one of the most sharing artists I think I've seen in my day. Now, for the lips, I will probably take an Inktense pencil, whatever you want. You could do watercolor, you could do acrylic paint, and give her some lips here. I might bring this down a little bit more. And clean, you know, you can clean up whatever areas you want. I'll probably go in and clean up some of this eye. This eye bugs me a little bit. It's too big, but I'll clean it up. I basically wanted to show you how I go about this with the portrait stamps. And I am going to go in with some more in her hair. Maybe even give her a little more hair. So this is really it. This is an example of one I did with her stamp, Dina Wakley stamp, on another journal page I did. And you could see I built up more with shadows, and I added some embellishments and painted her whole body in with that blue. So this is it. I mean, I hope you got a little something out of this. I'm getting a little more confident with the videos. So hope this helps, and I wish you a great day and weekend coming up. Thank you.